trying to trample upon the constitutional rights that netas have. We're going to explain this bill for you with the panelists on board. And we will take you through the online gaming bill that also has been introduced and has been passed in the parliament. So another round of discussion around gaming being banned in India. Will this push another round of underbelly? Well, we're going to take you through details of that. And of course, Delhi Chief Minister attacked in the national capital. We're taking you through that story. As always, I start with the headlines. Uproar in the Lok Sabha as the opposition tears up the bill that's been introduced by the centre that allows for suspension of a Prime Minister, Chief Minister or any ministers within states if at all the person has been arrested for 30 consecutive days. The opposition calls this absolutely unconstitutional and a bid to trample upon the opposition. The Supreme Court slams the National Highway Authority of India, upholding toll suspension over potholed Kerala highway. Says citizens cannot be made to pay twice to navigate gutters and potholes. Lok Sabha passes a bill to ban online money games amid opposition protests. In fact, a law outlaws betting, gambling and fantasy sports. Jail up to 3 years if at all found indulging in it, 1 crore fine. But like I said, there's been a lot of talk around whether this is going to give birth to an underbelly. Is this right to ban gaming or betting in India? India successfully test fires nuclear-capable Agni-5 missile from Odisha, 5,000 kilometers range ballistic missile, marks major boost to India's strategic deterrence. Chhattisgarh High Court has ordered 25,000 each for midday meal negligence where dog soil food was served to students. In fact, the court asks the government to give those students each 25,000 rupees whose meals were licked by strays. Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta attacked during Jan Sunwai. In fact, a man just lunged at her, slapped her, pulled her hair in a pretext. He basically tried to talk to her, asking her some questions and a pretext to ask her some solutions. He got close to her and then assaulted her. Seems like a premeditated plan. The police are investigating the case. Karnataka High Court questions a blanket ban on bike taxis. The government told to clarify its stance by September 22nd. The High Court says rules can replace prohibition, which puts the livelihood of many at stake. Xi Jinping makes a rare Tibet visit, hails 60 years of Chinese rule, calls for modern socialist region amid criticism of repression and demographic changes. Russia offers Indian exports a market amid US pressure on crude ties. Deputy Envoy Roman Babushkin slams unjustified sanctions, says energy partnership with India will continue. All right, let me start with the bill that's really run into controversy today. It seems like the parliament erupted after Amit Shah, the Home Minister, introduced a bill which is now dubbed as the Criminal Neta bill. So the 130th Constitution Amendment Bill, now as it's known as the Criminal Neta bill, has been introduced in the Lok Sabha by Amit Shah. It's been referred to the Joint Parliamentary Committee, and its core, basically the bill here proposes that if the Prime Minister, Chief Minister or Union or State Ministers are arrested and are kept in custody for 30 consecutive days on charges carrying a punishment of up to 5 years or more, then they will be, or should be, according to this bill, removed from office. This applies even if these leaders are not convicted later on. In simple terms, if a minister is only arrested, not proven guilty, only arrested, then they can lose their job after a month of custody. There's no guarantee of return even if acquitted, and no compensation if the arrest is later found to be malicious. In fact, supporters say that this will only bring morality into politics and it's the right move and really strikes at the heart of criminalization in public life, but critiques, warning that this bill undermines the basic principle of innocent until proven guilty. They fear misuse by investigative agencies, pointing particularly at the Enforcement Directorate's poor conviction rate so far, just 38 convictions out of the 5,000 cases that is picked up, with 95% of the probe in recent years targeting opposition leaders alone. So critics say that this law could become a constitutionalized tool of vendetta. The uproar over this provision was quite visible in the parliament. Opposition MPs have shouted slogans, thrown papers at the Home Minister Amit Shah, and while he was reading the bill, he was literally almost attacked with those papers thrown right at his face. I'm going to play that visual out for you here. In fact, KC Venugopal of the Congress, there you have it. That was how the announcement of the bill was responded with. KC Venugopal of the Congress, in fact, asked Amit Shah in the parliament, reminded him of how he was arrested when he was Home Minister of Gujarat. And to which Venugopal asked, where did morality go at that time? Amit Shah responded saying he was, conscious enough at that point to resign. So this was the back and forth that went on in the parliament. I'm going to take you through that.
Can I ask a question to the Honorable Home Minister? When he was the Home Minister of Gujarat, he had been arrested, sir. Whether he took the morality of that point of time?
ये विषय नहीं है, गृहमंत्री जी।
आप मुझे सुनो जरा, मुझे सुनो,
गृहमंत्री जी,
मुझे सुनो ना, पहले बैठ जाओ,
हाँ गृहमंत्री जी।
माननीय अध्यक्ष जी, मैं रिकॉर्ड क्लियर करना चाहता हूं, मुझ पर झूठे आरोप लगाए तब अरेस्ट होने के पहले मैंने नैतिकता के मूल्यों का हवाला देकर इस्तीफा भी दिया और जब तक मैं कोर्ट से निर्देश नहीं हुआ, कोई संविधान को मैंने स्वीकार नहीं किया। ये क्या सिखाते हैं नैतिकता में?
Now the exchanges only intensified with MPs crowding around Amit Shah's bench. BJP's Anurag Thakur accused the opposition of crossing all limits of parliamentary democracy, while Asauddin Owaisi of the AMIM and many other leaders of the Congress branded this bill as draconian and anti-constitutional. Let's hear it.
मुख्यमंत्री को हटाना है तो असेंबली में हटाते हैं। अब आप मेरे को ये बताइए कि BNSS में इतने ऐसे सेक्शंस हैं कि किसी को भी आप एक सेक्शन लगा दीजिए 5 साल के ऊपर का, तो लाजमी है वो 30 दिन के अंदर, 30 अंदर BNS में ये है कि 90 डेज तक पुलिस कस्टडी ले सकती है। तो ये मेरे ख्याल से ये 1930 का गेस्टापो मूवमेंट हम भारत में देख रहे हैं।
पेपर के टुकड़े किए और पेपर के टुकड़े देश के गृह मंत्री जी पर फेंके और उनके चेहरे पर फेंके। क्या विरोध करने का तरीका ठीक है? विपक्ष इतना गिर गया कि आज लोकतंत्र को शर्मसार किया है और भ्रष्टाचार का साथ विपक्ष ने दिया है।
Because what it basically allows a government to do is to put you don't even have to be convicted. Tomorrow you can put any kind of case on a chief minister and put him in jail for have him arrested for 30 days without even him being convicted, and then he ceases to be chief minister. It's there plain for everybody to see. So I think that it's absolutely wrong. It's anti our constitution. It's against our constitution. It's undemocratic, and it's very unfortunate.
Well, now, all three bills have been introduced today. The Constitution 138 Amendment Bill, the Government of Union Territories Amendment Bill and Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Amendment Bill of 2025. These are the three bills Amit Shah announced. It's all been sent to the JPC. Political battle, of course, just about begun. Is this truly a step towards cleaning up politics or a weapon to silence the opponents? If I may bring in our panelists here, Charu Pragya, spokesperson of the BJP, joins me here. Wing Commander, retired Anuma Acharya, spokesperson of the Congress. Thank you very much, Anuma, for joining us, and Dr. Rajiv Nanda, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court. I really appreciate all your time. Quick question to the BJP, as y'all are defending this bill. Of course, it's placed by the centre, led by the BJP. Charu, ED's low conviction rate, almost 95% of the probe targeting the opposition. These are two aspects that leads us to believe that this bill could very likely be used or misused against the opposition.
Nabila, very good evening to you, and a very good evening to my fellow co-panelists and all our viewers. Let's understand one thing. The premise of this bill is not political vendetta. It is clean politics and judicial process. Because who can keep anyone in custody for 30 days? It is only the courts. Even if the police or any other authority, when they make an arrest, the person who's arrested has to be produced in a court. A magistrate has to give leave for that person to remain in custody. And let us not forget that in this political fire that seems to be going around for absolutely no reason. Please understand that having a place of power cannot be a shield from being punished if you are found to be wrong. And this same law exists for our bureaucracy. Civil servants are required to step down from their positions if the charges are of a crime which is punishable with more than 5 years. The same thing even happens in corporates, Nabila. Can there be an investigation against you while you're still sitting in a position of power? Absolutely not. Now netas are being held to the same integrity standards, and that's a very welcome move. Let me use the example of two chief ministers.
Reconcile innocent until proven guilty. Innocent until proven guilty. That's what the Constitution mandates.
Yeah,
how do you reconcile
absolutely. So here, it is not that reinstatement is not possible. If you are innocent, you can be reinstated and you can completely go back to resuming office.
But we hear that clause of reinstation is not really mentioned. There's no. We hear this. You are saying that they can be reinstated, but as per the bill, as far as what I hear, there is no mention of a U-turn. That if you are proven to be innocent, then you will be inducted back again.
Yes, so the bill actually does not say anything, because if the leader is found to be innocent, they can be reinstated. Let me use these examples to make understanding easier. The first example is Hemant Soren from Jharkhand. The second example is Arvind Kejriwal from Delhi. Now in Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal refused to resign. He was behind bars for an extended period of time trying to run the state from behind jail. What did the courts do? The courts put in measures that he could not go to office. The court said he cannot take any decision. He cannot even enter the CM's office building. Why did the courts have to do that? Because a person in a position of power at a time like this can destroy evidence. We saw that happening. Can scare away witnesses. That's a possibility. That's one example. The second example is Hemant Soren. He was also arrested. He actually chose to resign before he went behind bars. So the looking after of the state passed on to the person the government chose, his government chose. Why can that not be the norm? Explain that to me. And again, I want to stress upon this. It is the judiciary who decides how many days of custody anybody getting arrested does. You are not going to get indemnity just because you've been elected by the people. In fact, you must be held to higher standards of integrity, and this is a step towards clean politics.
You're saying that the bill also has provision to allow the minister to return if at all he or she is proven innocent.
Well, Hemant Soren became the chief minister again, did he not? And the people of Delhi chose not to elect Arvind Kejriwal. So why I'm stressing on this is that these are examples. So in the same way, obviously a minister is going to be a minister because his party is in power. If his party MLAs
but as per the law here, or the bill that's been introduced, Hemant Soren ideally should have been sacked 30 days after he was arrested.
It's not about being sacked. It's about preserving the integrity and having the right to defend.
Okay, it's not about being sacked, it's about preserving integrity.
No. This is about stepping back temporarily, Nabila. And this distinction has to be made. If you're found to be innocent, it is obviously your party in power. They can reinstate you, right? And 30 days is a very long time in custody.
Okay. To bring in the Congress leader here, if you oppose this bill, in your view, if this bill is wrong, as per what Charu Pragya says, to the face of it, it sounds great. This is exactly what we need to fight against: corruption, criminalization. We don't want that in politics. We want our netas to be clean. And why not? If a neta has been accused, then he or she should face the law. And until then, governance can't take a back seat, right? You'll have to move on. Work has to progress. So, well, step back morally, and now a law will mandate it until you're proven innocent. How does that bode with you?
Good evening to you, to your viewers and the panelists. Whatever you have heard, basically this bill is diverting attention from the scam which was revealed and is becoming a movement, which is like I am in Bihar as of now, I can see. So this party, Bharatiya Janata Party, is only trying to mislead the people by bringing such a bill which is actually unconstitutional. I have heard you from the beginning itself. You have stressed couple of times that is it a tool to just hit the opposition, which is so correct, because now when the BJP spokesperson says
not by me, I'm collectively representing the opposition's voice in my definition of what panned out in the parliament. So it was not my words.
Do you really think you needed to justify that? You don't have to. Everybody has heard you. You are just giving that voice, and basically you are again and again, when you repeated that, it was so evident that you are innocent unless you proven guilty. That you have.
Ma'am, those are legitimate questions posed by the opposition, and of course it's our duty to ask. Well, do not quote me here. Let's quote yourself, right? You are saying that this is a deliberate bid to target the opposition. You don't have to quote me. It's your view. So tell me why you feel that.
This is what the country is watching.
Why do you feel that? Give me reasons to why you feel that.
Because as you have in the beginning, now you as in your channel has brought that 5,800, and you didn't say 5,892 cases, but I am telling you these many cases were there, or only couple of them were like people were punished. So process is the punishment. This is what BJP is doing. So here BJP's intention is first to divert attentions from the headlines, manage the headlines, and there are so many examples. You know who gets the bail these days? Ram Rahim, Asaram, who don't even spend as many days in jail, where they are actually the people who have been found guilty. They are not spending as much time in jail as much on parole. We can see that Brijbhushan Sharan Singh, despite the FIR lodged, he was not removed from his member of parliamentship. So Bharatiya Janata Party, what they are doing is they are actually anti-constitutional. They have
so a bill like this will also eliminate people like Brijbhushan Sharan Singh. Even Brijbhushan wouldn't be able to stay in power if this bill is introduced.
But who is making any charge or FIR on the ruling party? I have to ask you.
The public has the power, the Janta has power, citizens of this country have the power. They held Brijbhushan accountable. He was sacked as the Wrestling Federation's president. He was sacked from it.
He stayed. So sorry. Your facts are wrong. The federation was dissolved. He was not said.
All right, so I agree with what you're saying. The federation was dissolved, but it happened, right? There was a step towards the right direction.
Federation was dissolved.
All right, I'll go with what you say. The federation never existed after those allegations. It was dissolved. Brijbhushan was fine. He was forced to step away. He was forced to step away. I'm agreeing with you, ma'am. I'm agreeing with you. I'm completely agreeing with you. All I'm saying is this bill will not, it's not just about the opposition, it's about anybody in power, which also includes the BJP.
Again, the ED, CBI, all those cases, if you can see, the data speaks for itself. Because no cases were lodged against the ruling party people. And then this bill says they cannot be reinstated. That means you are hijacking the mandate of crores of people who have voted for
No.
the opposition parties,
Okay.
and then you are removing them. And this
But
is
that's,
BJP
see,
has
you're
all
saying
nullified
this,
in
you're
cases
saying
we
this
have
because
seen
you
with
strongly
the data.
believe that this is only directed at the opposition leaders. But of course, Charu, she's not wrong. I will bring in the Supreme Court advocate. I will come to you, I promise. But give me a moment to bring in also Dr. Rajiv Nanda to give us a little sense on what this bill really undermines, and if this is a bill in the right direction in your view. Does it fit in and fill well with the legal framework? This bill, in your view, does it undermine separation of powers or the Constitution's basic structure by bypassing due process? How do you even explain this?
See, this bill which has been introduced today by the Home Minister, in my view, is totally unconstitutional because we are following the basic jurisprudence in India that you are innocent till you are proven guilty. And this is the bill which is putting the horse before the cart. Now, there can be many instances where people will be behind the bars for more than 30 days, that ED or under various provisions of BNSS, where the prosecuting authority can seek remand for more than twice, 14 days and then 14 days and then yet another time. So in that eventuality, if somebody is behind the bars for more than 30 days, then that will disentitle him from the post he's holding, whether the chief minister or the prime minister or the minister of the state in the state government or the central government. This is certainly not the spirit of the Constitution. We are, see, like what the Supreme Court did while granting bail to Mr. Kejriwal, they said that you will not attend the office of the chief minister or you will not go near the office and enter and do perform any kind of chief ministerial act. These are the jobs to be done by the courts. You, the government, the executive, cannot transgress into the area which is not meant for you. This bill, in my view, will not stand the scrutiny if passed ultimately and then challenged in the court.
Can I speak, please?
Charu, yeah, please.
Thank you very much. Now, with all due respect to the senior advocate on the panel, sir, please tell me, why do you hold this against the bureaucrats then? You are completely comfortable if a civil servant is suspended from duty while the investigation is going on, if the charges are punishable with more than 5 years? So why did this jurisprudence not strike you then? Why are you bringing it in specifically? Or are you maintaining that political leaders, especially if they become ministers, chief ministers or prime ministers, should get indemnity from the law of the land? That is exactly what you're trying to push. Secondly, you are showing distrust in every single Indian institution and authority. So you are showing distrust in not just the police or the ED or the CBI, etc. You're showing distrust in our entire judicial system.
Charu, if I can respond to that, my limited question is that where is the trust? There is no trust in the enforcement directorate. In the last 10 years, the ED has carried out arrests and investigations 90% on the opposition leaders. So, you know, in looking at the ED's track record itself, and barely 20% of it or 30% of the 5,000 odd cases that they've taken up have actually seen its conclusion. So the rest of it was all let go. Was it false cases? Where it, you know, was it a lie? We don't know yet. That case is open or shut, that also we don't know. But just 30% of 5,000 cases that the ED has picked up has actually seen a conclusive end. So with the ED's track record and the allegation against the centre that you are using these government agencies to vilify or target the opposition, that's where the doubts arise.
Nabila, the fine print here is that the ED can make an arrest, but the courts are required to keep someone in custody. Why is everybody overlooking this very, very simple fact? And I ask again, so it is all right if a civil servant is taken off his post, but you want the government to be run from the cells of a jail. Is that it? So please make the distinction that an arrest can happen, but detention depends entirely on the Indian courts, and 30 days is not a short period of time.
And we know the
every single
courts,
leader arrested
we know the
has
courts
access to
taking
the best lawyer.
time to deliver. We know that courts have backlog, right? We need fast track trial courts. That itself is pending. There is a backlog in courts, so we've got to face those facts and realities as well. So it's easy to say that it's all left up to the court, but we also know how much and how far the courts can drag. Dr. Rajiv, if you can give us a sense on that, on ultimately it's the court to decide, so why are we worried?
Yes, of course, it is ultimately for the courts to decide. And knowing the track record of the ED and the prosecuting agencies in India, I'm not trying to point out anything except that we have a very low conviction rate in India. And there is no U-turn as of now in this bill. If ultimately somebody is proven to be innocent, will he or will he not be in a position to come back? As of now, I don't see any provision currently in the bill which may ultimately be, if somebody is proven innocent, what about him? What about his losing the position? Can somebody bring it back? This is totally undemocratic.
Dr. Rajiv, don't you think also at a time like this when we're seeing leaders, I'm not even going to mention names, or let me mention a few of them, Lalu Prasad Yadav, Arvind Kejriwal, I mean, well, there are, in fact, Lalu Prasad Yadav has some cases where he's established, convicted, but still at that point was in power for so long. It prolonged for years and years where people lost faith that a man who's corrupt still is continuing to govern us. You know, people still believe men with power will continue in power even if they are convicted of crime. So a law like this may be the need of the hour. Shouldn't this be a deterrent now going forward?
It all depends on what is the need of the hour. That way, I mean, pardon me for bringing the names of few people. Like then the Pandit Nehru, they were during the struggle of freedom, they were behind the bars for years. During Misa, many of the present-day executive, they were behind the bars for more than 30 days. So should all of them be prohibited from becoming netas or taking any position, or should they be not entitled to? So it is need of the hour is very subjective. I mean, we can't say need of the hour. Yes, the need of the hour is for cleansing. The intention is very good. The intention of this bill is praiseworthy, but not in the manner in which it is being taken. This is what I am saying.
Okay, Ms. Anuma, a final word from you. What's the alternative then? If you're not supporting this, then how do you weed out corruption?
No, one is I am not supporting or supporting. My stand is very clear. This is for changing headlines because this voter deletion and voter theft scam is becoming a movement. So the government wants to curb that. That is the first thing which I will maintain. And the other thing is, another panelist was talking about civil servants, they are suspended. Yes, they are suspended, but they are reinstated with full benefits, including their promotion. So we should not talk about it. There was a civil service officer who just
so Charu Pragya said that there is room for that leaders can be brought back if they are proven to be innocent. So we are looking forward to see the finer details of what that bill provides. A quick word, Charu, would you know if MLAs are also involved? Are they also in the list? Or is it just ministers?
This particular bill is for ministers, chief ministers, and the Prime Minister. So please stop saying it.
Yeah, that we know. All right, got you.
Just the JPC now, the Joint Parliamentary Committee.
Okay, Anuma, you have your 10 seconds.
One IAS officer searched his aircraft and he was suspended for that. So do you know he has to go appeal and then he was brought back? So not to say Prime Minister just
all right, I really apologize. That's all I have time here. But thank you very much. We've covered most of the points. All of you appreciate your time. A quick break.
Chandigarh, Coimbatore, NCR and Bangalore, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Raipur and Hyderabad. We've been here, we've been there, Veka's been just everywhere.
Papa, let's go to the happy birthday to
आम पेन रिलीवर एरोसोल स्प्रेस में है, दवा के साथ हवा, मगर डायनापावर QPS प्लस में है सिर्फ दवा ही दवा। इसलिए डायनापावर QPS प्लस चले ज्यादा। डायनापावर QPS प्लस सिर्फ 91 रुपए में, लगा के देखो मान जाओगे।
ये बेस्ट है सर।
हमेशा वाला क्यों नहीं?
मिश्रा जी, आपके लिए फूलों की बरसात, बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस देने के लिए।
मतलब प्रोडक्ट वारंटी?
वारंटी तो है ही, ये एक्स्ट्रा है। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे।
वापस करके देंगे?
वो भी फ्री।
फ्री?
पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
Go condoms?
It's over there.
क्या ये डिफरेंट साइजेस में आता है?
Actually, sir, size matter नहीं करता.
तो फिर क्या मैटर करता है?
The hardness
Of the condom.
of what's inside.
For the first time ever, presenting Hard Rock Gel.
अब free हर score condoms के 10 पैक के साथ.
बढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
You glow different when you're in love. 16 million shades of love to choose from. Unlimited Love V6.
Welcome back. The other bill that was hotly debated, much talked about online gaming bill is now a reality. The Lok Sabha has cleared the promotion and regulation of online gaming bill 2025. The 14-page bill drafted by the IT ministry is sweeping in scope. It regulates e-sports, social and educational gaming, but slams the doors shut on online money games and involves basically involves monetary stakes. I'm going to take you through what Ashwini Vaishnav said.
Item number 23, Shri Ashwini Vaishnav.
Honorable Speaker Sir, I rise to move that the promotion and regulation of online gaming bill 2025 be taken into consideration.
All right, the 14-page bill there, drafted by the IT ministry, is sweeping in scope. It regulates e-sports, social and educational gaming, but slams the doors shut on online money games that involves monetary stakes. For India's booming online gaming industry, this is the biggest shake-up yet. Popular apps like Dream 11, Games 24/7, Winzo, Gamescraft, 99 Games, Khelo Fantasy, My 11 Circle, all of them now face an outright ban on offering real money games. Endorsements too are under scanner. Celebrities, athletes, social media influencers promoting such platforms could land in jail for up to 2 years with fines running into crores. For operators, the punishment could stretch up to 3 years in prison and penalties of up to 1 crore. The bill also arms regulators with extraordinary powers. Warrantless search, seizure, authority to walk into offices, freeze accounts and seize servers without prior judicial clearance. So that's putting the entire industry now in absolute danger of the law. You cannot function if at all you are a betting or a gaming app that involves money. This comes just months after the centre raised GST on online gaming to 40% in a revamped tax regime. Together, these moves will jolt India's $3.7 billion industry, $3.7 billion industry, threatening thousands of jobs, pushing crores of users to risky offshore betting platforms now. You had Shashi Tharoor, MP of the Congress, who basically said that this could have been thought out better.
The online gaming, I am on record. I have written an article in 2019. I made the case for some time now that, to my mind, the government should be legalizing online gaming and taxing it, regulating it and taxing it, because then the benefits of the money that people are spending anyway on this process can be spent on social causes. If you simply ban it, it goes underground and the mafia makes money from it.
Now, the government, however, argues that the law is necessary. It says compulsive play in driving families into financial ruin, while offshore platforms are being misused for fraud, money laundering, tax evasion, and even terror financing. That the government says this basically is making online betting not just a social problem, but a matter of national security. Now, the bill heads to the Rajya Sabha. Once it's cleared there, the upper house, and once it clears the upper house and secures presidential assent, then the ban on real money gaming in India will finally become a law. So it's right in that direction there. I'm joined in by Kaushik Gaur, founder of India Future Foundation as a cybersecurity expert. A quick word, Kaushik, on banning real money gaming outright. The government really is trying to protect users here. What do you feel? Crores of rupees that are dependent on this, lots of jobs. We know that gaming addiction is real, but at the same time, this will really create a bigger underbelly. What do you say?
Absolutely. The bill will create a bigger underbelly because we have 3 unicorns from India in the online gaming space. And the online gaming space should not be confused with offshore betting and gambling platforms which do not pay GST, which don't do KYC of users, and which are used for laundering money from India. Now, if we have to protect the Indian economy, specifically when we have Trump tariffs up to 50% impacting the Indian economy, we must think about the Indian startup ecosystem, which is creating millions of jobs, and Indian startups which are raising billions of money, particularly in the online gaming skill space. So if you have a blanket ban without understanding the larger ecosystem, it will just hamper the Indian economy and take us back to the dark ages. Now, in the area of technology where online gaming is becoming a trend today, it's also important to create more awareness. A blanket ban not only creates more fuss in the market where everybody sees that the game of skill is confused with the game of chance, and the offshore betting and gambling apps are looked at with the same radar. Yeah. So a blanket ban would just create more chaos in the country. I agree with Mr. Shashi Tharoor that this could have been better thought of and a more debate could have been organized. Erstwhile, we have seen bills like this being put to public consultations before they go to the parliament. However, the government has been extremely secretive about this bill. When they were trying to introduce this bill, there have been no public consultations which have been done by the Ministry of Electronics Information Technology. And in fact, none of the gaming authorities or the regulators which have been made so far were even invited or this was discussed with them. So I believe this is not the way so far we have seen the government functioning. This could have been handled in a better manner.
Okay, $3.7 billion industry we hear in India, the gaming industry, and the thousands of them who are employed. Couldn't tighter regulations have worked better, like KYC norms, following KYC norms, monitoring these transactions? So these are better solutions instead of a blanket ban. Could that be something that the government can consider instead of banning it?
What was required was a central regulation to basically moderate the game of skills and shutting down betting and gambling platforms which have been operating in India, which have been using celebrities for endorsements and have actually been used for money laundering. We have seen a lot of these apps which are popular today, such as the Khelo Yaar Mahadev app, which have been causing massive havoc, and the enforcement directorate has been going after them. In fact, celebrities who have been endorsing these apps have been getting notices from ED. Now, if you put these apps with the Indian online skilling based apps which have been operating, I don't think so that's the right way to do it. These are two completely different. If we are increasing up to 40% tax on Indian online gaming skilling platforms and putting them in the same radar as we look at the offshore and betting platforms, then we are putting our industry at risk. And we haven't built out mechanisms to stop some of these offshore betting platforms which have been security and also pose an issue to the citizen safety. So what is required is better sense to prevail on this right now so that the government looks at it in a more open manner than putting a blanket ban on anything to do with online gaming which involves real money.
You know, Kanishk, we see that the bill gives powers to warrantless search and seizures of accounts and freezing accounts. So from both an industry and a cybersecurity perspective, does this really safeguard national security? Again, I'd like to ask, you've already explained why this why this is an excess measure that was taken, but your view on the government really clamping down. Of course, the focus here is on the addiction and the number of families that are ruined, and that's a real issue. You know, how do you address that? Maybe the government can start with a ban and then eventually try to regulate it, because the level of addiction, youth getting into it, letting go of, you know, selling of their family wealth and stealing money, getting into crimes just to gamble to such levels, that's really posing a threat to the youth of India.
See, if you look at some of the largest games which are played in India, whether it is cricket or IPL, or the online gaming platforms have been sponsoring these. And we have seen the games space evolve in a big way, where you had certain games which involved game of chance, and you had certain games which were game of skill. With respect to online games of skills, the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology came out with a rule to regulate it erstwhile, and that's why gaming federations were set up. Now, we could have taken a precedence from those and would have given an opportunity for these gaming federations to basically further work together to regulate the online gaming space. Now, mighty bringing out a new law and taking it approved from the parliament just makes the situation worse, because you have an existing law which is there and you have not effectively implemented that law. And you bring out a new law, you might even go about implementing, approving it, but the whole part of monitoring it will play a very crucial role, because a lot of these offshore betting and gambling platforms continue to operate. Erstwhile, we had seen that Mighty had banned 240 plus Chinese applications, but these Chinese applications changed their domain names to operate from South Korea or some of the other countries, and they continue to operate in India. So blanket ban makes it harder for enforcement. And in India, people find out mechanisms to continue operating some of these applications. So better would have been to regulate this segment, understand this segment, and taking a public consultation route to involve the Gaming Federation and some of the online gaming companies which are operating in this space. And they continue to pay heavy interest, heavy taxes to the government. So it would have just enabled.
So, but the government also says that there's a lot of terror funding happening. In fact, Ashni Vaishnav said that in the parliament as well. So these apps are being used as platforms to siphon off money, terror funding, or bring money through it.
So online gaming space is not used for terror financing. It is primarily the offshore betting platforms which don't form entities in India. They operate from Cayman Island or some of the other offshore islands, and they continue to be led by people who are not part of this country. They continue to show ads. That should not be confused, right? Okay. They don't follow the KYC norms. They don't follow the GST norms.
But here we're looking at a blanket ban by the government, right?
Yes. So people who are paying GST, who are paying up to 40% of GST, I think it's going to hit them hard, because they can't be put in the same lens. I believe this will be challenged in the court by the online gaming companies, because a lot is at stake for them, and a blanket ban like this just creates more chaos, and it stops the ease of doing business in this country.
Well, we hear you. Thank you very much, Kanishka. Appreciate your time for joining us. A quick break. We'll be right back with all the top stories on Day to Night. Stay with us.
Sir, try berry pulao. Too good. Good, no?
Hey, why are you giving him such looks? Ignore tips and use your own mind before you order. Lots of people give unsolicited stock tips. It can be dangerous. Study the company and the risk associated. Invest only after analyzing.
An investor awareness initiative by SEBI.
Papa, let's go to the happy birthday, Duda. I love you. Go to Dada. I love my Dada.
Skoda. पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया। देखो तुझको जो मैं हो जाऊं
You glow different when you're in love. 16 million shades of love to choose from. Unlimited Love. B6. Mahindra Electric Origin SUVs.
Welcome back. Let me start with the top story, really, that gripped the country and the national capital particularly, is Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta, who was slapped early this morning. In a shocking incident this morning, the Delhi Chief Minister Rekha Gupta was attacked by a man during a Jan Sunwai at her residence, where she was hearing grievances of the public who had come to her house, which she does quite often. The accused, the man you see on our screens here, identified as 41-year-old Rajesh Bhai Khimji Sakaria, a resident of Rajkot, Gujarat. He was arrested shortly after the incident and remains in police custody. We hear the man walked into Chief Minister Rekha Gupta's residence and then posed as if he was an aggrieved resident, tried to show her some papers and went close to her. And as soon as he got that proximity, he slapped her on her face and pulled her hair. That's how bad it was. In fact, from what we hear, the police say this was premeditated. In fact, News9 has accessed exclusive CCTV footage. We show you on our screens here, where this man is said to have done a recce of Rekha Gupta's residence. In fact, he looked around a day ago, took videos of the residence from the outside, and then went on to carry out this attack. So this was a video that the cops found on the CCTV cameras of Rekha Gupta, and also when the man was arrested, he had videos of Rekha Gupta's home on his phone. So clearly well planned in advance for him to attack her. Now, clearly at this point, the cops say that this man's mother says he is mentally ill, he is not in the right frame of mind, and that he was very upset with the Supreme Court's ruling on stray dogs being rounded up, and basically he wanted to come and pour out his heart to the Chief Minister Rekha Gupta, and he may have done this. So mother says he's not mentally stable, but Rekha Gupta, she really was shocked. It really shook her, and this news itself was very disturbing. She says, nobody can break my spirit. Rekha Gupta was injured as well, but she seems to be doing fine now. I'm going to take you through, though, some of them who reacted to this case.
वो अपनी कोई बात बता रहे थे, एकदम बात बताते वक्त वो अभी बात ही हो रही थी, उन्होंने एकदम थप्पड़ मार दिया। ये बहुत गलत हुआ है। जनता सुनवाई पे सबका का हक है। इसमें कोई बहरूपिया अगर आज उनको थप्पड़ मार सकता है तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है।
आज जो भी हुआ है वो बहुत ही निंदनीय है। अभी जो पता लगा है कि वो व्यक्ति पीछे 24 घंटे से रेकी कर रहा था कि वो कैसे मुख्यमंत्री से मिले। वो उनके घर में शालीमार बाग तक भी पूरा वहाँ पे उसने रेकी किया कल, और वो आसपास ही कहीं पर इसी सिविल लाइंस के क्षेत्र में रात उसने गुजारी थी। और आज सुबह जब वो आया तो उसके हाथ में कोई कागज पत्र नहीं था, कोई ऐसा मुद्दा नहीं था, और उसने सीधा ही मिलते ही और हमला कर दिया।
माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी दिल्ली की रात दिन चिंता करती हैं और यही विरोधियों की साजिशें हैं। उनसे ये बर्दाश्त नहीं होता कि एक मुख्यमंत्री कितने घंटे पब्लिक के बीच में रहता है, जनता को आमतौर पर मिलते हैं, अपने निवास स्थान पर जिसका दिल करता हो आके मिल सकता है। यही कारण है कि इसके पीछे कोई राजनीतिक साजिश की बू आ रही है।
Let me show you a few instances of Arvind Kejriwal, who was attacked as well. In fact, Arvind Kejriwal was attacked while he was in an election rally. Where you had a man there literally pouring ink on him. and another incident where he was hit almost. So Arvind Kejriwal also has faced similar situations. Delhi seems quite brutal to its own leaders. There you have it. So that's one case there of Arvind Kejriwal being hit while on an election rally. So instances like this have happened in the past in the national capital. Now, shifting our focus to a story in Ahmedabad, Gujarat. Children's anger issues that's going unchecked, really turning deadly. Classic case from Ahmedabad where a Class 10 boy was brutally stabbed to death by his junior. Chaos broke out at the Seventh-day Adventist Higher Secondary School in Khokra. Parents, locals and ABVP workers stormed the campus, vandalized property and even assaulted staff after 15-year-old Nayan succumbed to knife wounds. His grieving father has demanded justice.
मेरे बच्चे की जो हत्या हुई है उसके लिए मैं समझो गुजरात गवर्नमेंट को हाथ जोड़ के विनती करता हूँ भाई हमको पूरा जस्टिस हमको मिलना चाहिए और गुजरात गवर्नमेंट हमारे साथ है, सब रिस्पांस अच्छी तरह से मिल रहा है और गुजरात पुलिस भी हमारे साथ में ही है, तो हमको सब जगह से अच्छा रिस्पांस मिल रहा है और हम ये अपेक्षा करते हैं भाई मेरे बच्चे की जो मौत हुई है उसका बलिदान गलत नहीं जाना चाहिए, हमें पूरा न्याय चाहिए।
अहमदाबाद शहर के जोन 5 में जो खोखरा पुलिस स्टेशन है वहाँ पे कल एक स्कूल है, यहाँ पे स्कूल है, इसमें एक इंसिडेंट बना था जिसके अंदर एक क्लास 10th के 2 स्टूडेंट थे के आपस में झगड़ा हुआ, उसकी वजह से एक स्टूडेंट ने दूसरे को चाकू मार दिया था। कल ही पुलिस ने उसमें FIR दाखिल करके इसमें जो अक्यूज के रूप में आरोपी था जो जुवेनाइल था, पुलिस ने उसको डिटेन कर लिया था। मीनवाइल रात को ट्रीटमेंट के दरमियान जो इंसिडेंट में पीड़ित बच्चा था उसकी डेथ हो गई है, तो उसके परिवार वाले, स्कूल में जो बाकी स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ते हैं उनके पेरेंट्स और सिंधी समाज के भीड़ यहाँ पे है, तो सफिशिएंट संख्या में पुलिस की यहाँ प्रेजेंस है। ऑलरेडी पुलिस ने मेन अक्यूज को डिटेन कर रखा है और इन्वेस्टिगेशन आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। मैं मीडिया के मार्फत से आप सभी लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं कि हम सबको कानून व्यवस्था में एक दूसरे का सहयोग करना चाहिए और पुलिस इस पूरे मुद्दे के ऊपर तटस्थ तपास करेगी और जो भी कल्प्रिट है उनको बिहाइंड द बार किया जाए।
मैं परिवार को फिर से सांत्वना देता हूं और इस केस को हम शिक्षा विभाग स्टडी करेंगे कि ये बच्चे लोगों में इतना क्राइम बढ़ रहा है, ये सभ्य समाज के लिए ये अच्छा नहीं है।
A shocking incident has unfolded just a day earlier outside the school gates. A Class 8 junior allegedly stabbed Nayan after a heated spat. Surrounded by a group, the boy pulled out a knife, slashed him in the stomach and fled. CCTV cameras captured Nayan stumbling back into school, clutching his blood-soaked uniform before collapsing. He was rushed to a hospital, but doctors could not save him. The accused was caught with the help of a school guard and arrested under the Juvenile Justice Act. Police have seized the CCTV, registered an FIR and are questioning other students as well. What began as a schoolyard fight has now snowballed into a massive law and order crisis. Furious parents are now demanding to know how a knife entered the school and why Nayan's life could not be saved. Right, let me take you through a story that's really gripped Haryana. Justice for Manisha, that's gaining momentum across Haryana. 19-year-old play school teacher from Bhiwani was found dead on August 13th. Her throat was slit, body dumped in a field 2 days after she left home to inquire about a nursing course and then never returned home. Public anger is now boiling over. Villagers accuse the police of delay and negligence, saying that their inaction has cost Manisha her life. Markets are shut, roads blocked, Mahapanchayats are currently underway. Her family has refused to perform the last rites until the arrests are made. Even after the suspension of the policemen and the transfer of an SP, protests have only grown louder. But the case now has taken a twist. The Haryana police claims that a suicide note was found near the girl's body, along with personal documents. They say that Manisha had purchased insecticide, and forensic tests confirm that she had insecticide present in her body. But her family refuses to accept this, saying that this is planted and that this suicide theory itself is absolutely rubbish, insisting that this is nothing but murder. Outrage has now drawn national attention. The Haryana government has suspected, or at this point, we hear that a clampdown has happened across and mobile services has been suspended. Bulk SMS and dongle services in Bhiwani area and Charkhi Dadri area has been cut off for the next 48 hours. Now, the NHRC has stepped in demanding a report on this case from the DGP. Justice for Manisha has become a rallying cry. The pressure on Haryana police and the government only mounting.
हमने पुलिस को सख्ती से लेटर भेजा है कि 24 घंटे के अंदर इन सुरागों को ढूंढिए। कौन है वो लोग जिन्होंने इतनी जालमी से इस बच्ची को मारा है। ऐसे तो हमारी बच्चियां बाहर निकलने में घबराएंगी। ही माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी ने ऑलरेडी पुलिस के खिलाफ आदेश दिए थे, कुछ को सस्पेंड किया, एसपी का तबादला हुआ, परंतु महिला आयोग भी उन लोगों को बख्शेगा नहीं।
All right, a quick look at the Karnataka state. Congress government in Karnataka, their 5 guarantees may have powered its win in 2023 in Karnataka, but the Comptroller and Auditor General now warns of a heavy price. The CAG report, tabled in the Assembly, says Karnataka spent 36,538 crores on the 5 schemes, 15% of its revenue expenditure. To fund this, spending on infrastructure was cut off by over 5,000 crores, pushing incomplete projects by up to 68%. Revenue growth has slowed to just 1.8%, while expenditure has shot up by over 12%. This has created a revenue deficit of nearly 29,300 crores. The state's fiscal deficit too has ballowed in at this point. The state's fiscal deficit at this point has ballooned from 46,000 crores to over 65,000 crores in just a year's time. To fill the gap, the government's borrowed about 63,000 crores from the market, 37,000 crores more than the last year. Borrowings outstripped capital spending by over 38,000 crores, meant at this point that debt is being used to run guarantees rather than build long-term assets. The CAG cautions that without cutting subsidies, Karnataka's debt and interest burden will only grow. The government, however, defends the scheme, saying that they boosted demand, empowered women and the youth and narrowed inequalities. But the numbers show Karnataka is really walking a fine line between populism and fiscal discipline. All right, a quick look at Kerala, that's on high alert. Yet another child that has been struck by a deadly brain infection. 11-year-old girl from Malappuram in Kerala, now on ventilator in Kozhikode Medical College. She is the 3rd patient that's currently battling amoebic meningoencephalitis. That's what it's called, a rare brain-eating amoeba infection. Alongside her, a 3-month-old baby and a 40-year-old man are also critical. Just days ago, a 9-year-old girl, you see on our screens here, from Kozhikode lost her life to the same disease. This infection is caused by free-living amoeba found in stagnant or contaminated water. It enters through the nose, travels to the brain and destroys brain tissue. That's why it's called the brain-eating amoeba. The illness moves very fast, beginning with fever and headache, but often leading to seizures, coma, death within days. With a fatality rate of more than 97%, survival is extremely rare, and it seems like there are a few cases that have been found. Health officials warn the infection is linked to swimming or bathing in unsafe water. People have been advised to avoid contaminated pools and ponds, ensure proper chlorination in swimming pools, and even use nose clips if swimming is unavoidable. Kerala doctors earlier recorded India's first recovery using a drug there that has that drug that you see on our screens that basically has somehow helped in treatment, especially among children. But Kerala government now racing against time, fighting this silent killer. That's it for me here. Thanks very much for watching. Have a great night.
Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers.